Okay, am I audible, everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. So
Good
we'll start the
afternoon,
class.
ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. We'll look at conditionals today. I think we don't have many topics left now. Maybe conditionals, mm, quantifiers, and negative sensitive elements. So maybe for next and the following week, I think that's all you have left in the module also. So we'll take up conditionals now, and then next week we'll do quantifiers. In case we are able to complete it entirely in the next week, then we'll stop there. Otherwise, we'll continue over to the next week. Right? 31st is your exam. Is that right? Final
Y-
exam? End
Yes, ma'am.
exams. Yeah. Okay. Right. So we'll discuss a little briefly on the conditionals. So let's look at the you probably would have already watched the lectures on that. So what I'm planning to do is I'll also revise it because sometimes people have questions about how conditionals work and what is it exactly and all that. So to begin with, basically conditionals are complex sentences. Okay, so before I begin, I want to just warn you of something. We've been having some power cut issues in the institute since yesterday. So in case if there's a power cut and I'm logged out, just wait for 10-15 minutes. In case I'm not back within 10 or 15 minutes, then you can log out. Okay, is that okay? So about conditionals, basically any sentence that looks like a conditional is basically a complex sentence, right? It's a complex sentence, and when I say complex sentence, then what are we saying? What do we mean by complex sentence? Essentially, about the structure of the sentence, that both it has both independent clause and a subordinate clause, right? So independent plus a subordinate clause. So unless you have one subordinate and one independent clause in a sentence, you cannot call it a complex sentence. Is that right? So mm, all your conditional sentences, right? All sentences that are conditional in nature, they're also what? They're essentially or structurally, they are grammatically, they are complex sentences, right? Conditional sentences or clauses, as you wish to call them, they're what? They're also, if you look at the sentence structure, then it is also um, what you refer to as complex sentences, right? Structurally, grammatically, they're complex sentences as well, right? Now, what is special in the case of a conditional sentence? What kind of subordinate clause do you have in a conditional sentence? You have an if clause, right? More commonly, it is an if clause, right? So it doesn't mean that it is always an if clause. There are other kinds of conditional sentences, as in there are other subordinate conjunctions, right, which can help you form a conditional sentence, which we'll discuss briefly. If you've already watched the lectures, you will know towards the end of your lecture, there is something called expressions with conditional meanings. Yeah, if you remember. So there are a few other phrases or some other words that you can use to mean the same as the subordinate conjunction if would do for you, right? So words like when or unless or as long as soon as, on condition that, in case, or providing that or provided that, supposing with. Should you had um, had plus the third person first person, right? The third form first person. um, all of these are various phrasal and word expressions that you can use to replace this if as the subordinate conjunction to get a conditional sentence, right? So more commonly used conditional clause would be a clause that begins with an if, right? The subordinate conjunction that subordinate clause conditional clause that begins with the conjunction if. But like I mentioned, we have other options, like the ones I just mentioned. So while we make this conditional sentences, first, particularly with if, right? This may not be true in the case of all the other expressions that I did. While we form sentences or while we form complex sentences which has an if clause in it, there could be various functions or various time frame reference that each of this can convey, right? So basically conditionals in different time frames. So based on that, you have mostly three kinds of conditional sentences, right? Mostly three kinds of conditionals, and that includes the zero conditional, the first conditional, and the second conditional. Okay. So I know that the lecture mentions about the third and the mixed conditionals and all that. So the more common forms, the more common kinds of conditional sentences, especially with if clause, are usually the zero conditional clauses, the first conditional clauses, and the second conditional clauses, right? We also have the third and the mixed ones, but these are not as common, right? So you don't very often see people forming sentences that begin with which includes a mixed or a third conditional. What you more commonly see in the language, whether that's in English or other languages, are the zero first and second conditionals, right? But since your lecture anyway covers mixed and third conditionals, you should also know how they structurally differ from each other and what are the exact conditions in which the mixed conditional and the third conditionals are applied, right? The first three is pretty easy. So if you have to look at the zero conditionals, what do zero conditionals do? What kind of if clause sentences would become zero conditionals? What is the situation? Anything that you can recall from the lecture?
Ma'am,
Ah,
it refers to real facts and real
correct.
possibilities.
Correct. So if you're referring to real facts, or in other words, like she mentioned, it refers to real possibilities, right? Real possibilities or conditions that are true in reality, right? We are talking about a true condition or a real possibility. So you either say true condition or what is that? Real possibilities. Both these situations are connected to what we call a zero conditional. So obviously, then if you're talking about real possibilities or true condition, then the nature of the sentence would be generally, as she mentioned, the nature of the sentence would be like that of a rule. Okay, it could look something like a rule, or it could also look like what she very rightly mentioned as general facts, right? Something that is automatically followed from the other, right? That is what the meaning is, right? General facts is anything that is common knowledge, something that follows from the other, logically follows from the other, right? So all of these situations, let me add that as well. Logical um, result of a condition. Okay, you can understand it that way also. So all the three, right? Zero conditional refers to real possibilities or true conditions, which means we are talking about general rules or general facts or any logical result of a condition, right? Anything that is a logical result of a given condition is also counted as they put under the category of the zero condition. Okay. Now, example would be something like, I'm just taking the example that we have in um, your lecture PPT, your lecture slide, so that if there is any difficulty that you're faced in understanding that, even that will get straightened out. Okay. So the example you have here is the clay becomes sticky, right? If you add water. Now, does it fit the category that we just explained? Does it fit into the true condition, general facts, logical result of a condition thing? The clay becomes sticky if you add water. Yeah, yes, no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you give me another example from, say, um, from your side? One or two examples. Just think about a sentence which is more like a general condition, a true condition rather than something that is, say, more hypothetical or imagined or unreal, right? That is, we place zero conditional and the first conditional as opposed to the second conditional. But even within the zero and the first, zero is something that states a general truth, right? No? Anything simple, right? So you can make it according to what you have in the sentence that we just discussed. And please look at your chat also, because I'm typing out certain things. In case you're taking mini notes or something, this should be useful. Okay. So examples would be, something like when it rains, the terrace gets wet. Okay. Or say the ground gets wet, right? Is it a sentence that suits the conditions that we explained? Logical result of a condition, general fact and rules. Yeah. When it rains, the terrace gets wet or the ground gets wet. Does it fit that category? Now, this is with a, the conjunction used here is when, but still it's a conditional clause, right? Yeah. Does it fit the zero conditional category? Yes, no. Are you listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. How about others? Rajdeep and Jagannathan and who else? Okay. Okay, Jagannathan says yes. How about others? Why am I not able to see people? Yeah, Vishwajit and Rajdeep. Okay. All right. I'm yet to hear from Rajdeep, but okay, at least Vishwajit has responded. Okay, so more sentences of that order. What would be more sentences of that order? If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. If you um, if you cool down water to 0 degrees Celsius, it freezes, right? So these are all examples of zero conditionals, or what we call as true condition. Okay, something that refers to real possibilities and true conditions, or something that's a general fact, right? So this is what it amounts to. Now, what is first conditional? What is first conditional? So if so before we do that, so if your sentence, right, in general, let's forget about whether it's conditional or something else. If your sentence is talking about, right, if it generally talks about facts, then what is the kind of tense that you see in that, if it is about general facts or true conditions? What
Uh,
tense do you commonly see? Yeah.
Ma'am, it can be present or
Yeah.
future tense.
No, mostly it is always present tense, right? If you have to, you're right, in certain conditions, yes, simple future, but then for our reference, mostly if you want to convey something that's a general truth condition, then the tense that you use is a simple present tense, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you observe the sentence that you have here, the clay becomes sticky if you add water. Now, there are two parts to the sentence. We know the one is a subordinate clause and one is the independent clause. So both the parts, right? Both the what you also refer as the if clause and the other clause, the subordinate clause, which is the if clause, and the independent clause. Both of these clauses are written in present tense. If you look at the structure, the verbs in these in both of those clauses are in simple present tense, because obviously we are talking about a situation that talks to you about a general fact, or something that is a true condition. So following the general principle that we use to talk about a fact or a true condition, both the clauses take the simple present tense, right? So that is structurally or grammatically one information that you should know. Now, in case of first conditional, what do first conditional do? What do first conditional do?
Present simple.
No, no. I'm talking about what do they represent, right? So what is the difference between first conditional? And this is important for us to know, because even they have, they also have the function to represent real possibilities, right? Both 0 and first will do that. But then what is the difference between these?
Verb.
Yeah, structurally, yes, there is a difference of future tense and all that. But I'm asking you, I'm asking you more like a functional question. What exactly is the difference between the first and the zero conditional? Yeah, Neetu,
Ma'am,
you.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the first conditional represents something which is going to happen in future. And
Something it talks about a
uh,
real possibility in
real
future.
possibility.
Okay. So real possibility in future, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
while
ma'am.
zero conditional expresses what is mostly like a fact or a true condition, first conditional expresses the same thing, the real possibility of something or some situations in the near future, okay, or in the future uh, tense, right? Future time frame. This is precisely the difference between both of them. Okay, both shows real possibilities. One shows it in more like a worldly sense in the way that it's a fact and a true condition. The other one shows the real possibility of something in the future time, right? Okay. So example for that would be, what would be an example for that? Let's look at the sentence that we've used here. So let me write this down as well here. Possibility in future. Okay. And a sentence would be for first conditional, what you have is, so if I'm using the same example as you have in the lecture slide. So if the price of orange rises, right, demand will fall. Demand will fall, right? So is this something that expresses real possibility in future? Yes. So if the price of orange rises, obviously what will happen? The demand will fall, right? Because people cannot afford it. That, I mean, we're not talking about just mini price rises. We're talking about an inflation-like situation, right? So if the price of orange rises, demand will fall. What does this indicate? We have the if clause, which is in simple present tense, and you have the result, which is in future tense, right? Obviously, because we are talking about the real possibility of something in future. And what is here in future? The falling of the demand, right? So that part is obviously expressed in the future tense. Okay. Is that understood? So you give
Yes.
me some more examples based on this first conditional sentences. It's easy to draft this one.
If it, ma'am, if it rains tomorrow, I will
Yeah.
stay home.
If it rains tomorrow, I will stay at home. Okay. That's also a very good example for a first conditional sentence. Tells you about a real possibility that could happen in future, right? More examples. No, nobody wants to try. Think about one or two examples. After you're done with that, I'll give you one question. I want you to think about that as well. But give me examples like the one that he just gave.
Ma'am, um, if I study hard, I will pass the exam.
If you study hard, if I study hard, I will pass the exam. Okay. All right. Then something that is obviously first conditional.
Uh, Ma'am, if you eat too much, you'll get sick.
If you eat too much, you will get sick. Okay. If you eat too much, you will get sick. Okay. You'll fall sick. Okay. All right. So if I ask you a question now, be careful. If I have a question like this, right, or if I have two sentences like this, tell me, how would you? I mean, keeping aside the structural differences, how will you decide if the given statement is a zero conditional or a first conditional. So I'm writing down the sentence in the chat. Just look at that and tell me, okay?
Ma'am, if we
Hmm.
if it would be like zero conditional, then we will check if the sentence is talking about general truth or facts.
Yeah, no, that is okay. I'm going to. I'm still typing the sentence. I'll show you two sentences, and you tell me which among this, or most importantly, tell me which one among this is right. Okay. Will break. Look at these two sentences. If you drop that glass, it breaks. If you drop that
One
glass,
is
it will break.
the first one is zero conditional, and second one is first conditional.
Correct. But which among this is right? What will be the right way to put it? Do you think a sentence like this should be a first conditional or a zero conditional? What would be the apt description for that? Because see, between zero and first conditional, since we are talking about general truth conditions and real possibility, you will find certain statements which could have overlaps like this, right? So, what do you think is the right
Ma'am,
option from this and
ma'am,
why?
ma'am, both are right, ma'am. But the thing is that the first one is talking about um, general facts, and second one is talking about possibility.
Hmm.
Like if it would, like if
Hmm.
this happen, then it will affect the situation like that.
If this would happen, it would the resultant situation would be breakage. Okay. Any other answers? So do we agree that both could be correct, or only one of it would be correct? That is the question.
Ma'am, both are correct.
Both are correct. Okay. Anybody who has
Ma'am,
a huh? Right.
ma'am, second one.
Second one is correct. Okay. And
Yes,
why
ma'am.
do you think the first one is wrong?
Ma'am, sentence is not correct.
Sentence is not correct. No, sentence is fine only. If you drop the glass, it breaks. Okay. So I think he's right, right. We can consider both as a right answer. Depends on what is it that you're meaning to say, right? So if you're issuing this as a warning for someone, right, about a possible future event, then which one is right? The second one is right, right? And if you're only trying to make a general statement about the nature of the particle involved, which is glass in this case, then it is a zero conditional. Then it is mostly like a fact that you're stating. It's like a true condition you're stating that anything that is made of glass, if it drops down, it's going to break. If you're going to drop it, it will break, right? Or it breaks rather. And the second statement, which is the first conditional, this is basically like a warning, or it's like a warning for a possible future event, right? So you will find some overlaps between the zero and the first conditionals in real life conversations and real life scenarios. But just keep in mind that even though you see that overlap, you should understand the context in which it is spoken, right? So if it is meant more as an indication for the possibility of a future event, something as a warning or something, then it's first conditional. If it is merely stated as a matter of fact, then it is a zero conditional. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And now we are further going into the second conditional. Yeah, any question?
Ma'am, actually, the first condition, which is zero conditional, ma'am, it applies like when we address a large number of gathering. Normally, in public speeches, we
Hmm.
use facts when we addressing lots of people. But if we are addressing like two or maybe one, two, three kind of people, and we wanted to tell our uh, issues, then we use the second option.
I don't know. Where did you read that? I haven't come across that explanation anywhere though.
Just saying, ma'am, actually not come across
Ah,
actually
no,
normally.
no, no, no. No, don't look at it that way. It has got nothing to do with the expanse of your audience, right? So this is entirely dependent on the situation at hand. It's about the context in which you deliver the statement, right? So, like I already mentioned, if you're meaning it as a future possibility of an event, then you will use it in the first conditional. But if you're just merely stating a fact of what would happen if you drop the glass, then it is used as a zero condition, right? So it's like a more true condition that is being stated. It has got nothing to do with who you're talking to or how many of you are talking to. Okay? Right. So second conditional, then if you're going to look at them, then what do second conditional do? What does it do? This refers to what we call as a hypothetical or unreal situation. Okay? Hypothetical, unreal situation. Huh? So hypothetical situation would be anything that is not either not true or it is impossible. Okay, let me just write not true, impossible, or unreal, or you can also say not true at the moment. Okay, or unrealized. Let's call it unrealized. Something that is unrealized at the moment of uh, the moment of mention. Okay. So any of this would fall within the bracket of hypothetical situation, right? What we mean by hypothetical situation is something that is not true, something that looks impossible, something that looks unreal, or something that is unrealized, an action that is at least maybe it is true, maybe it has a possibility of truth in it, but it is unrealized at the moment of mention. Okay, as you mentioned, it is not already happened, right? Unrealized. That is what it means. So any of the action that falls within this bracket is referred to as a hypothetical situation. And second conditionals always talk about possibility or it talks about unreal possibilities in what is the time frame reference for second conditional?
Then past tense.
So yeah, it usually uses a past tense construction. So let's look at an example to clarify it further. Okay. So if I have
Ma'am,
something like, yeah.
so, ma'am, in second condition, the hypothetical situations like unlikely situations. So it is in both present and future as well as right for
In present and future.
for
No, I didn't get you.
like it's situation for present situation and future situation as well as right. Unlike the first condition.
Like the first conditional. Um, I don't think it mentions anything like that. It just says that this is something that you use to refer to. Yeah. Oh, your question is what does it which time frame it refers to, right? So it's both
Yes.
present and future. Yeah. Yeah, it's both present and future. So let's look at an example. If I'll take the example that we have in the lecture itself. So the one which we have here is if we had an oven, we could, right? Now, in this case, remember, we could use multiple models here. We could grill the mushrooms. Okay. So instead of this, I could even use a different model, right? So I can even say if we had an oven, we could grill the mushrooms, we would grill the mushrooms, we might grill the mushrooms, right? So based on what you want to convey, you could change that model verb there, right? Could grill, would grill, might grill, right? So what exactly that here the question is not about which model you use, it's about the expression of an hypothetical situation, right? So if we had an oven, we could grill the mushrooms. Let me just add the options here. We could grill. Okay, it's not working. So could or would or might. You could replace it with anything, right? Either would or might or could. So if we had an oven, we could, would, or might grill the mushrooms based on what info you want to convey, right? So then if you analyze the structure, what do you see? So in second conditional, in zero conditional, we had present tenses for both, right? And in first conditional, you had the if clause in present tense, and your resultant, which is the condition clause, the one which uh, gives you the result of the condition in simple future tense, right? So whatever is the result is in that particular clause. The clause that shows you the result of the condition was in simple future tense. Now, if you look at this sentence for second conditional, what are the sentence structures involved? What is the tense involved here? If we had an event, what is the tense of this particular clause?
Ma'am, which one you are asking about now?
Look at the chat box. You have a sentence there for second conditional. So in this sentence, for the first part, the if clause, what tense does this carry?
Ma'am, past
Ma'am,
perfect.
past tense.
Is it past perfect? Look at it closely. If
No,
we
ma'am.
had an event, this is what? This is simple past tense, right?
Simple
This is
past,
not
yes.
past perfect. Just because you have had, it doesn't mean it is
Yes, ma'am.
past perfect, right? So then the if clause here has a simple past tense, and then simple past followed by, what is that thing called?
Main clause.
In the main clause, what do you have? What is the, does it show a tense? We could grill the mushrooms.
Ma'am, could plus like verb. Ma'am.
So it doesn't actually show you any tense, right? So because you have a model verb, and we
Yes,
know
ma'am.
that it doesn't carry any tense on it. So simple past, and the rest of it is something that would carry a model verb plus the main verb, right? Plus the main verb. Okay. In this situation. But if I have another sentence like, if I had mm, let me reverse the order and show you. I might apply. So this is again from your lecture slide, right? So I might apply for a loan if I had to build a house. Can you analyze the tense here again? We have just reversed the order, right? So now the if clause has uh, taken the second position. I might apply for a loan if I had to build a house. Is it also following the structure that we just discussed? Simple past
No,
and model verb plus main verb. Yeah?
no, ma'am.
No? So what is happening here? What did you see in this sentence?
Ma'am, so main clause comes first and then
That is okay. That's okay. Order is fine, but do you see that the pattern? Just look at the clauses separately. Does the if clause carry simple past tense, and does the main clause carry the model plus main verb? That's the question.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, true. So you have might apply in your what is that? Your main clause, which is what we are supposed to look at. So might or would or could apply, and then you have your if clause, which has I had to build, right? So this one is again in simple past tense. To build doesn't count here because it's an infinitive verb, so we do not look for the tense of it. But we had I had, right? If I had, so had is what? It's basically simple past tense, right? So it's following the structure again. Uh, okay. So then I think there's one more example there which says if I had a lot of money, I would buy an aeroplane. Again, same thing, right? Simple past tense and then the model plus the main verb option. Okay. So then it comes as
So this sentence correct,
conditional.
ma'am.
Which one?
And this one I might apply for a loan.
Yeah, it is correct.
So we can
It is correct.
interchange. We can interchange main clause first and then
Oh,
uh,
definitely.
if clause.
Definitely, you can do that. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that if you're using the if clause first, then it has to be separated from the main clause with a comma. Okay. If it is following the main clause, then you don't need any punctuation. But if the if clause happens first in the sentence, then you separate it out with a comma from the main clause. That's all. Any order is fine. Okay, so now you have some other kind of constructions when it comes to second conditional. Okay, so look at this one. If I were you, right? A very common kind of constructions. If I were you, I would fix the leakage on my own. Now, is it following the structural pattern that we discussed? Simple past tense and modal verb, main verb?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Then let me see if there is any other anomalies here. Language is also commonly heard. So one thing that you need to know in this kind of construction is that now these days, very commonly we also hear if I was you. Okay, if I was you, comma, etc., etc. So in the usually in the standard English format, what people would like write is if I were you, I would fix the leakage on my own or whatever the result is. But these days, very often, although more commonly in conversations, it has not caught up that much in the standard writing format. But still, there are several people who have started using it in writing as well. So it's not wrong to say if I was you also. Okay, so that's also equally acceptable. Whether you say if I were you or whether you say if I was you, both are acceptable. Okay, both would be acceptable for our purposes. Okay. Uh, so that's all about the second conditional. Now we're going to talk about the third conditional. Okay. So third conditional and the mixed conditional, they are a little different in the sense that they try and convey a little more complicated conditionals than the first, second, and zero conditional. Okay. So what do third conditionals do, or what is the situation that third conditional um, conveys? It refers to a situation that imagines a change in the past. Okay, imagines a change in the past leading to a different result of that change in the present. Okay, so that is what third condition. So it's a little complicated, not very complicated, but a little complicated for the daily use, right? So third conditional refers to a situation that imagines. Okay, now the moment I say imagines, what kicks in? So there will be presence of some kind of second conditional element in that, right? The moment I say imaginary, it means that there is some kind of an element of second conditional present there. So it refers to a situation that imagines a change in the past. Okay, imagines a change in the past, uh, leading to a different result of that change. Okay, so let's look at an example. I think it's better to do that with the example. So again, from your lecture slide, if I had prepared well, I would have scored good grades. This is the sentence that we have. Okay, so can we analyze imagining a change in the past? If I had prepared well, I would have scored good grades. So which part is the result? Which part is the condition?
Ma'am,
Change in the past. First part, right? That's the correct. So imagine change in the past if I had prepared well, right? Leading to a different result in the present or the past.
ma'am, in the past.
In the past, yeah,
Yes.
right? In the past, okay. Or does it specify if it is past or present? This is precisely the question I want to know. From the second part, I would have scored good grades, right? Does it tell you whether the change in the result is in the present or the past, or it simply says that it leads to a different result?
Ma'am, it talks about the past participle, right?
Past participle is it doesn't show that is not a tense form. Okay, it's only a form of the verb. It doesn't convey anything about the tense as such. It's just called past participle. That's all. It has got nothing to do with past. So does this sentence, I would have scored good grades, does this tell you anything about past or present? Is the question.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
it does, you can say,
Yes, ma'am.
what does it tell you about past or present?
Past.
Past.
So if it is in present, then how would I have written it? Because if it is in past, then there should be a way to write it in past as well, right? So what would be that?
Score, ma'am. Verb.
If I
I would
prepare
have
well,
scored
I will score good grade.
future. You're supposed to change only the verb form, right?
Ma'am, score.
Hmm.
Instead of
Score.
scored,
No. Tell me, instead of score, what? You'll use score, but that will be wrong. We can't have that kind of a construction.
but you said we have to change only verb form, right?
So all of that is verb, no? Have scored is your verb. That's the main verb, of course, and then would is your model.
If I would prepare well,
Hmm.
I will. I have scored good grades.
Ma'am, if I prepare well, I will score good grades.
Okay, you first tell me what is have scored. Have scored as a form, what form does it represent? If I say I have scored well in the exam, am I referring to past tense or future?
Ma'am,
Sorry,
ma'am,
present tense.
Present,
present
ma'am.
perfect.
Present.
Present tense. So
Yes.
if I have to say so if I have to say that in past tense, then I have to say what?
I
Had.
had I had
I
scored.
had scored, right? I had scored good grades. So is it in present or past then? If I had prepared well, I would have scored good grades.
Ma'am, past.
But where is the past form? That is my question. Where is your past?
Ma'am, both of the uh, it is it ma'am, by both of the sentences
Hmm.
uh,
Both of the sentences? No, the first part is clear. That is past perfect. We know if I had prepared well. But what about the second thing? I'm asking about the tense. Yeah, I'm not even bothered about whether it is perfect or continuous or anything. I would have scored good grades.
ma'am, would.
So does would indicate past here? That's the question. I would have scored good grades. It has you're getting
Yes,
confused
ma'am.
because it is in the perfect form, and perfective form anyway has past tense involved in that. That's the reason. Okay. Yeah. So in any case, what is this? You're going to take it as past tense or present tense?
Ma'am, past tense.
You say past tense. I would have scored good grades, right? If I had prepared well, I would have scored good grades. So we are deciding whether this result that we have got is in past or present. Okay, I'm still looking for that answer. So are we saying that it is in the past? That we are talking about
Yes, ma'am.
speech in the past. If I had prepared well, I would have
Because
scored good grades. Hmm?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we'll keep at that. I'm not
we didn't do it.
talking too much about it right now. Maybe we'll take it back again when we talk about mixed conditional. So let's say for the time being that when we look at third conditional, we are looking at a sentence that expresses a situation that is a hypothetical, that is an imagined change in the past leading to a different result in the past for the moment. Okay. We'll get better clarity, or we might have to change this when we look at mixed condition. Okay. So for the time being, let's say both are past and both has perfective forms of tense. Okay. So first one being the present perfect and first one being the past perfect and the second one showing at least present perfect for now. Okay. But with would maybe in past. All right. Okay. So now what about mixed conditionals? Mixed conditionals also talks to you about some similar situation, right? So again, it shows about a change in the past, change of the condition, leading to a change in the past, and then also a condition where the change is in the present, right? So let's look at this sentence and try and understand for mixed conditional. I'm going to give you two sentences, and both the set of sentences you will have to analyze, okay? So the first one is, if I had not won the lottery, okay? I'll write both the sentences and then you can take a look at both of them together, okay? I would not be on a world tour, yeah. I would not be on a world tour. And then if it wasn't urgent, second, if it wasn't urgent, I wouldn't have called you today. I've called you today. Okay, look at both these sentences together and tell me what is happening.
Ma'am, which one? The above
Both
one?
the sentences. Both the sentences. What situation is being explained in both the sentences. If I had not won the lottery, I would not be on a world tour, and then if it wasn't urgent, I wouldn't have called you today.
Ma'am,
Yeah, go ahead.
so it is the first one is talking about like it expresses a past condition, like not winning the lottery, and I mean its present result is not being on a world tour.
Hmm.
So it uses past perfect uh,
Hmm.
uh, like if clause, and like it puts a modal verb of would.
This is for the second sentence, is it?
No, first sentence.
First sentence. Okay. So essentially, we are talking about a situation where there's a change, right? There's a change in the past, right? If I had not won the lottery, that is clear from the past perfect form that we have. So there's a change in the past that would have a result in the present or in the past. I would not be on a world tour. This is what? This is a clear case of present tense, right? So the change has happened in the past, and that changes has now had a result in the present. This is the first situation that we have at hand.
So
Okay.
if it has a characteristics of both second conditional and third conditionals.
It has character. The third conditional will decide. So it certainly has a characteristic of the second conditional. Third conditional, we are yet to decide upon that second part. So we'll see if it is behaving like that. But certainly the second part of it, I would not be on a world tour. This is what? This is a present tense statement. Okay, would not be on a world tour. Okay. How about the second one? If it wasn't urgent, I wouldn't have called you today. How about this? If it
When
wasn't urgent, I wouldn't. Yeah.
when both the sentences are in past tense.
Both are in past tense. So there is a change in the past. Okay. And that means a different past result as well, right? So both has happened in the past. If it wasn't
Yes.
urgent, okay, the urgency was also in the past, and the call that was made was also in the past, right? So in both cases, you have past tense, a change in the past that has had a result in the that would mean a different past as well. Okay, not a result, but would that had a different, which would automatically change the result of the past as well, right? If it wasn't urgent, I wouldn't have called you today, right? Both of these sentences are examples of what we call as mixed conditionals. Now, why do we call them mixed conditionals? Is there a reason why we call them mixed conditional?
Maybe it has a, as I already mentioned, maybe it has a characteristics of both
Second and third conditional.
Yeah.
That's what you told, no? Yeah. So you're right. Okay, we call them mixed conditionals because they have characteristics of both the second and the third conditional, right? So third conditional, what was it? If I had prepared well, I would have scored. So now can we take a look at this one? I would have scored good grades. This part essentially is behaving like a second conditional here. Okay, I would have scored good grades. So the special feature of third conditional, that a change in the past leads to a change in the result as well, right? That is what the special condition for third conditional was. But within that, what you had is a second conditional, and the sentence that you see here, I would have scored good grades, right? This is not about past or present, because you look at it, there's would and then have and then scored, right? So here we're not specifying particularly about past or present. We're simply mentioning a hypothetical condition here, like we mentioned in the previous sentence. Look at this, right? I would do so and so, right? So when you have in the mixed conditional both the flavors of this second conditional and the third conditional, okay? Third conditional, what is the flavor? The change in the past, right? That part is particularly something that belongs to third conditional. Okay, and second conditional, because you're talking about an imagined change in the past and in the present, right? So both of this combined together gives the mixed conditional flavors of the second and third conditional, hence the name mixed conditional. Okay, anything that is confusing? It is confusing a little bit, but you'll understand it only after you read more sentences based on that, right? So anything that is like an immediate question, it's almost time today, that's all, right? We can spend another few minutes discussing about the conditionals itself. Next week, we can take up the question. So that's not a problem, because quantifiers and negative sensitive elements will not take much time. Just 1 hour is enough for that. Anything that you've not understood in this, at least in the 3 sentences that we've discussed? No? Is second
only with the
clear
mixed.
Zero first and second is clear to you, right? You don't have any questions there.
Yes, ma'am. Even third is clear, but mixed condition is, yeah, mixed conditional is a little confusing, ma'am.
Little confusing.
It's hard to identify like which is like.
So just remember this, that in both the cases, what you'll have is you'll have, see, if I had not won the lottery, we are talking about a change in the past. In both the cases, you will have the if clause talking about a change that has happened in the past. If I had not won the lottery, if it wasn't urgent, right? If it was not urgent to be expansive. In both the cases of the mixed conditional, you will see that there is a reference to something that has happened, a change that has happened in the past. Only in the first case, when you're talking about, say, a past event, like in the first case, if I had not won the lottery, I would not be on a world tour. Okay. So here, what is happening? There's a change in the past, and then it's leading to a different result in the present, right? So if I had not won the lottery, this is the change in the past, okay? I would not be on a world tour, leading to a different result in the present. Okay. Now, similarly, if you look at the second sentence, if it wasn't urgent, again, this is a change in the past. Again, if it wasn't urgent and leading to a different result in the past again, I wouldn't have called you today. So both these actions are happening in the past, done and dusted, right? There was a change in the past, and then there was correspondingly a change in the result of the past, result which happened in the past as well. First case, there is a change in the past, but the result of that same change is now in the present time. Okay, so these two conditions are what is referred to as mixed conditionals. Okay. Yeah. Any other doubts that you have in there, or do you have any portions that you've still not understood?
Yes, ma'am. Got it. That means they express a past situation that has a present consequence, or a present situation that has a past consequence, right?
Okay. Yeah. Correct. Correct.
Okay, ma'am. Got it.
Okay. So basically, like another way of looking at it is also that we call it probably mixed because, and as you mentioned, because it has flavors of two different conditionals, and by saying that they have flavors of two different conditions, what we're trying to say is that actually the if clause and the resultant clause are in two different tenses, right? That's also one way of saying it. Because if you're saying that there are two conditionals used, then we know that conditionals will have different tenses. So your if clause, which is your condition clause, and your result clause, both of them are in two different time frames. Okay, so that's also one reason why we can use it that way. Then yeah, anything in third conditional that you have not understood? So first sentence is past condition, present result. Second one is past condition, past result. Okay. Is that all right? Any question
Ma'am,
with the third conditional? Yeah.
ma'am, the example for third conditional you have given that if I had prepared well, this one, ma'am, how it is different from the mixed conditional, the examples you have given.
Because it does not mention when the change of time is, right? It doesn't tell you whether the effective result is in the past or present. It just tells you the, the result alone. Does not mention whether it's in past or present, unlike in the case of mixed conditional. It cannot tell you the time because see, I would have scored good grades. Would is a modal verb, and then the other form have scored is basically is not something that can tell you of time. It's a participle, so no tense there. So if you have to take it out of the grammar zone, you have to say that that particular result doesn't tell you whether it is in past or present. It just gives you a change. There's a change in the past, and then there is a corresponding result to it.
Ma'am,
We do not know if it is in past or present.
ma'am, it is like an hypothetical condition. That's why it is third condition.
Mostly that. Third conditional, yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, the mixed
And-
condition.
Yeah, need to continue, and then Vishwajit, you can.
And ma'am, for mixed conditionals, it is not hypothetical.
No. Mixed conditional is not hypothetical. It is hypothetical because again here we are talking about an imagined situation, right?
Yes,
Oh
ma'am.
no,
If
sorry.
I had
No, not in case of mixed conditional. If I had not won the lottery, this is reference to a change in the past, not an imagined situation. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. For third conditional, it is hypothetical, but
Ah.
for mixed conditional, it is.
It is not. Yeah.
It is not. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm also checking something on your lecture slide to see if it is change in
So
the
mixed conditional is fifth form of conditionals, right?
mixed conditional is fifth form of that I do not know.
Because in this sheet, ma'am, the sheet you are showing, ma'am, mixed condition is not mentioned. So that is the reason.
No. Oh, so that is because we didn't want to take up the mixed conditionals on that or rather the exercise that I had taken it from did not have an option for mixed conditional. This one also doesn't have zero conditional. I think it only has first, second, and third. Okay. So change in the present, where is it? It's not in the past. Yeah, correct. So in the mixed conditional, please make a note of this interchange of tenses, okay? From past to present and from present to past. Look at both the examples again. See that this is in the past and then it moves to present. This is again in the, if it wasn't, this is present moving to past, okay? So mix is basically referring to the time zone mixes, okay? Time frame reference mixes. So understand that part, okay? And in third conditional, what you need to understand is we are talking about a past situation whose time frame reference or the results time frame is not known to us. We do not know whether it is past or present, but we definitely know that the change has happened in the past. Okay.
Ma'am, so,
Yeah.
so are we going to like expect questions from zero and mixed form of conditionals, or only this first, second, and third?
No, all of them. If you have it in the document in your lecture, then there are chances they'll ask you on anything. Okay, so your graded assignments have questions in mixed conditionals, no?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I think the practice assignments also have them. So obviously, if it is covered, it has been covered both in your, graded and the practice assignments, then that means it will certainly, there are higher chances that it will show up in your exam. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So we'll take up a few questions. Actually, the file that I have, it has almost 30 questions. So what we'll do is I'll add another 10 with the mixed and the zero conditional as well, because I don't see both of them here. So what we'll do is we'll not do maybe all the 30 of the ones with second and third and first conditional. So maybe we'll do say 20 and then 10 of the mixed and the zero conditional, right? So that you have some practice with it. Okay. So this will happen next week. So please revise those slides and come. And in case you have any questions, please ask me. I think from the remaining topics that we have, conditionals is the only part which will create some confusion. The other two, quantifier and negative sensitive, they're not very difficult to understand. So just at least go through the slides before you come to the next class, so that if you have any questions, you can ask and then you can work on the worksheet. Okay. Okay. All right. So then we'll see next week again on Tuesday. I'll stop sharing the screen for you now. All right. See you all again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.